are doing our weekly session where we spend about 20 minutes on really specific topics to help agents be more productive in their business, to be happier in their lives, more productive in their business, have more free time, sell more houses, whatever it is they want to do. We give you tips and pointers to help you achieve that. And today we have a really great topic. It's all about getting what questions you should be asking your buyers to not only make sure you're working with the right buyers, but also have them be prepared for what is a very tough market for buyers. It's a seller's market right now. Every listings, multiple offers, over list price, people waiving contingencies, all this craziness. So you've got to be ready, prepare your buyers, and make sure you're working with the right buyers. Yet, especially now, everything's multiple offers over list price. Why would you break their hearts and show them something that 3 days from now might not even be on the market? So I think this is one of the key questions to start off with. By the way, guys, I'm not suggesting there's a particular order here. I'm just saying these are great questions you should ask, that it should be part of your buyer interview, and that you should ask them as applicable. I think it's also important to find out if they have ever worked with a realtor and make sure that they're not currently signed on with someone else. And by signed on, I mean having signed a buyer agreement. Make sure that especially if you meet someone at an open house, for example, it's our duty as realtors to make sure we're not getting our clients into a jackpot where maybe they're owing 2 commissions. So if they're not in an agreement, then it's fair game. If their current agent isn't doing the job for them or they don't feel that they are, it's okay to take a client that could be working with someone else, but you have to make sure you're not getting that client in a sticky situation because they've signed an agreement with someone else. And that's why I have this question in there. Also, and we have this going on right now, it's important to ask if they've seen homes with another realtor, because buyers get squirrely. So they might have seen a home 3 months ago, maybe they got outbid and maybe the house fell out of contract and now they want to see the house with you. Well, guess what? If you're the second agent to show them the house, you may not be procuring cause. Now, this is a whole additional topic, but suffice to say, the bottom line is that if you're the second agent to show them the house, you may do all the work and not get paid. So that's why it's so important to ask this question. And again, I don't want to dig too deep on this today because we could do a whole, what conditions remain? Okay, so when I get a pre-approval letter, it says on there, this is based on running your credit, running your income, information that has been provided to us. It should, to be as strong as possible, only be conditional on appraisal. Okay, that's the best approval you can. The stronger the pre-approval, the better. That's kind of the moral of the story. And number 6 is where we get into what information did they collect? Do they already have all your documents? Have you already given them your bank statements? Everything they've asked for. The stronger the approval, the better. And the last thing is, please get that contact information, especially if it's a lender that you're not familiar with. At least touch base with them before you start showing folks houses, because if they are Dewey, Cheatham and Howe mortgage company from, where did you say, that you want to make sure that you are familiar with the lender so that when the listing agent asks you, you can answer those questions. Last one is, if they say no, they're not pre-approved, have referrals ready. Okay, and I know you guys all have lenders out there that are dying to get your business, so have the referrals ready. Question number 9. Yeah, I think again, we want to dig into the motivation of the buyer and find out how long they've been searching. Someone who just started may not be prepared for what is out there. The horrible atmosphere that's out there for buyers, where they're going to get multiple offers and get beat up out there and maybe have to go over list price. This is going to tell you a lot about their mindset of the buyer. How long have you been searching and how have you been searching? Are they on every single website scouring Zillow and Realtor.com and Homes.com and beautiful, what are all these crazy websites? Are they out there scouring all these websites? Are they working with 3 different realtors? Well, I've got 3 different realtors sending me houses. That's information you need to know. Number 11, price range. Again, we want to talk about pre-approvals versus what price range they really want to buy in. So they might be pre-approved for $350, but maybe they want to only keep their search in the mid 200s. Okay, I think it's an important conversation for us to have, especially being in the business as long as I have. I remember the crash of '08, and part of the problem was that people were getting approved for these high dollar amounts and they were spending every penny of it when maybe they knew deep down they weren't really comfortable with that. Number 12, of course, we got to talk about areas, and here's where we start getting into the criteria of the homes that they're searching. Now, I do a full hour-long CEU buyer class where we really dig into this, but these questions become so important because of the limited inventory. So say someone tells you, I only want Parma, okay? The next question might be, oh, so you need to be in Parma schools? Or find out why. Dig a little deeper. Don't just take what they tell you and plug it in the MLS and set up a search, because here's what's going to happen. They're going to call you up one day and they're going to say, hey, Teresa, I see, or I just bought a house, a for sale by owner in Parma Heights, or it was listed with so-and-so in Parma Heights or Seven Hills. You didn't send it to me, so I drove by the sign and I called the listing agent and bought that house. And the reason is because you didn't ask them, hey, Parma, how about Parma Heights? How about Seven Hills? Would you consider any neighboring cities? How about North Royalton? How about Brooklyn? So it's really important to dig deep on these next set of questions, the qualifying questions. So areas, find out why. Is it school district? Is it being close to work? Is it being close to the freeway? Dig on these questions. What size home? How many times have you had a buyer who says, I need 4 bedrooms, and then they go and buy a 3-bedroom house? Why is that? Because they really need 3 bedrooms and an office. So if there's a space, if there's a finished basement, you've got to really dig deep on these questions, guys, because what happens is they'll find a house somewhere else and buy it because you didn't dig deep enough and send them everything that could potentially interest them. Same thing with garage. Say they say, I got to have a 2-car garage. This is the question I would ask. If I found you a perfect house that met all your other criteria, and it only had a 1-car garage, are you telling me you wouldn't be interested in it? Yes is okay. No, I would definitely not be interested in that house, Mike. Fine. I just want to know, because when I set up this search and you tell me 2 or more car garage, you will not see any homes with a 1-car garage. You will not see any homes with less than 2 full baths. Are you sure 1.5 baths won't work? I'm positive. I got to have 2 full baths. Great. Those are the types of qualifying questions you ask. I think you got it. I'm going to move on. Size of the property. Remember, we can search by square footage, by acreage. Someone who says, I don't want anything less than a 1/4 acre. So when you put in your search and you put in 0.25 acres plus in your MLS search, that means if it's 0.2499 acres, it will not come up in the search. So again, you've got to stretch the limits of these criteria and ask them, are you sure? There's so few homes. Would you consider something that was 0.19 acres? Maybe we should omit that criteria. But if they're adamant that they need an acre or more, maybe you say, hey, how about 0.9 acres, 0.8 acres, and stretch the limits of these criteria. Next one is, who is making the buying decision? How many times have you shown a spouse or maybe both spouses a house, and then they bring the parent, someone who might be helping with gift for down payment, and that deal gets nixed because of the other decision makers? Please ask who the decision makers are, okay? And whenever possible, bring all the decision makers to the showings. I know with COVID, we're trying to limit the number of people in a house, but this is so important to get all the decision makers on the same page early. Last question, I think this is the last one at least. What style of homes? And remember, we can ask, what do you like? What do you not like? Because we can exclude things from our searches too. Some people may say, I hate split levels. I hate bi-levels. Okay, we can omit those from a search. And some people might say, I need a ranch. Now, here's a follow-up question I would ask to that. Are you saying you 100% need a ranch? Or are you telling me you need a 1st floor bedroom and a 1st floor full bath? Because what other types of homes may have that? Bungalows, Cape Cods, for example. There may be a colonial with a 1st floor master. So are you telling me you need everything on 1 floor, or you just need some 1 floor living?